The characteristics of an entrepreneurial leader. When you envision the characteristic actions of a leader, what actors and roles do you recollect? Is it the stubbornness of George C. Scott as General Patton, the sheer bravado of Mel Gibson in Braveheart, or is it the purpose-driven decisions of Morgan Freeman as Principal Joe Clark in Lean on Me? Perhaps it's the strategic calculations of Cate Blanchett as Queen Elizabeth. What characteristics have you seen in yourself? And what characteristics have others complimented you with? When an entrepreneur begins to develop a business vision, he or she will need to determine if the additional burden of leading that vision into reality is one that they are willing to take on. Let's examine several positive entrepreneurial leadership characteristics that may benefit a budding entrepreneur, either through character development or through the process of organizational appointment. The ranking of these characteristics will build up to what I consider the greatest attribute in a successful leader. Translating from French to English, the word entrepreneur means to take an opening. The first positive characteristic is an entrepreneur's ability to sift through the mud-filled rivers of capitalism in order to pan for the gold nuggets of opportunity. These entrepreneurs have the ability to see what others do not, and more importantly, to exploit that opportunity to their own benefit. Perhaps the ability to find those nuggets is because they possess the additional ability to see their world through rose-colored glasses. Besides being opportunists, the successful entrepreneurial leader is also an optimist. No matter the failure, they persist. Consider Milton Hershey, the founder of Hershey Chocolates. His first 3 ventures in candy making were complete failures. And even then, his success with the Lancaster Caramel Company could have been short-lived had Hershey not believed that his milk chocolate would change America's perspective of confection. Taking that risk, the third characteristic, transformed a small dairy town during the Great Depression into a microeconomic success. And subsequently, Hershey built that success into a sustainable philanthropic-funded school for parentless children. There are many people who have a great idea and are optimistic about venturing into an opportunity. The difference is that an entrepreneur has the desire to take the plunge and then manage the risk. The successful entrepreneurial leader has the ability to weigh the risk against the degree of their own internal tolerance to ambiguity. These are courageous people, goal setters and achievers. To paraphrase M.J. McCormick's 2001 work in the Journal of Leadership Studies titled Self-Efficacy and Leadership Effectiveness, Applying Social Cognitive Theory to Leadership, effective leaders have a locus of control that is based upon internal factors, and they do not assign operational blame upon external factors beyond their control. They believe that they are masters of their own destiny. Those who lack this internal ability, having an external locus of control, blame others for failure. Those who have the internal locus of control will blame themselves for operational failure, not in an unhealthy manner, but in a way that they or their organization can grow and overcome. To state this principle plainly, they desire to own the problem, for the purpose of seeing that problem resolved. A problem with blaming others is that you become a victim of circumstance, as opposed to a victor over the challenges that life presents. Take Milton Hershey again. If he had given up after the 3rd try, he probably would have never succeeded to the extent that we see today. It stands to reason that an entrepreneur's resilience of determination is probably based upon a healthy self-esteem. This degree of self-esteem is strengthened by a strong internal motivation to succeed, and only to succeed, even when failure is imminent. So how can one possess all of these qualities? In my opinion, we may possess them, if not presently, then the future. These qualities are developed and nurtured through the efforts and investment of others. To recap, these 6 characteristic abilities that I've discussed are: number 1, filtering through a river of opportunity to find those nuggets. Number 2, optimistically seeing what others do not. Number 3, taking the plunge and managing the risk. Number 4, internalizing failure for the purpose of operational improvement. Number 5, having a healthy self-esteem. And number 6, possessing a strong desire to succeed. These 6 developmental characteristics can be traced to the investment of a servant leader. A servant leader can be defined as a person who makes cognitive decisions to delegate, empower, train, and lead an operation by serving their subordinates. As I mentioned earlier, there is a greater characteristic. The 7th one is to become a servant leader. These individuals know the principle that the greatest people are those who serve the needs of others. They take the responsibility to lead personally, not as a demigod, seeking power and respect, but with the understanding that work should serve the needs of man, and that man should not simply serve the need to work. We always need to consider how we lead in regards to the employee and our organizational effect on the client, the customer, and society as a whole. This ability, becoming a servant leader, separates good entrepreneurs from great entrepreneurial leaders.